What's going on, folks? Welcome back. Hopefully you are doing well. Today we started out with a two-legged pullback, and this is the clear sign the market is moving into. The first leg up was right here on the left side of the chart. You can see that if you measure it and you put it back, this was the second leg. We overshot a little bit, and so first leg we went into consolidation, and the second leg, and notice how this is way too steep. This is literally 90-degree angle, and I always keep telling you the market will not go that much higher under 90-degree angle. Prices are far away from EMA at this point, and we are gonna pull back. 90-degree angle is very short-lived, and it needs correction, and it needs a pullback. Easy to find today if you just analyze the market structure today, that there is a major support forming here. This is what you always have to do before you start your trading. Always analyze and try to find the key levels, and this was the key level for the day. You can see multiple bounces right here, and it came into play later on because you can see this was a break, fell break lower. But I want to talk about the way I was looking at to find the trend lines today, because this was the first way how I drew my trend line today, and as you can see it kind of fits from the top, and this is why I marked the trend line, because at this point it was from this high. It was from the trend line and from the EMA, but you cannot really make it fit on the lower side. Look, you cannot really fit it here. This is kind of weird, this overshoot. We're not touching the low side here, you know, this is not that clear. And once we kept pushing lower and lower here, I kind of figured out there might be bigger channel that I'm missing, bigger pattern. So I actually adapted a little bit, and this is what I end up with. And I think this is a spike and a channel. And you can see the prices are looking much better. This is much more clear. Prices are fitting from the tops, from the lows much better. This is more eye-pleasing to me. And you can see we have a break, double top, and a new low. So, you know, price action perfect to the point. And actually we might have some sort of, looking at spike and a channel working right here. And when we're talking about spike and a channel, remember, this is the spike and this is the channel. This was the spike down, this was a two-legged pullback down, and this was the channel. We are using a little bit unorthodox way of finding the trend line, because normally we are finding the trend lines from the highs. Normally we are trying to find the trend line from the highs like this and from the first few swings. But when we're talking about spike and a channel, we have to let the spike play out, and we are finding the trend lines at the end of the spike. At the end of the spike. And this is, you know, this takes some time and some experience to find the spike in the channel, because you can see even now early on I was looking at the normal proper trend line, and you can see how overshot, how oversold it was on the low side right here. This was very overshot at this point. We sold off big time here, so this was the tell that it might be a spike at a channel. I'm gonna delete this. So this was the first trade that I saw today, and it was very tempting to take this second entry short. This was the new low, first entry, second entry. It is off the trend EMA. At that point it was from the trend line, but this correction is working higher, and we have to draw these short-term trend lines. We have to, you know, let the correction play out. So we have to wait for higher probability setup. This is not that high of a probability, but once we let the prices, we let them to do their thing, prices went higher. They tried to retest, but there was so much resistance, the prices instantly reversed lower, and this is a nice big bearish reversal bar. So this is much better entry to go short here than here. This was, you were playing odds, your odds here, because we could have easily broke and made a new high, and you would have gotten stopped out. This was the much higher probability setup that you should wait. We had another bounce of this trend line. Very tempting to take this trade. I'm not going to mark it because this is just a first entry, but it's not that high of a probability, but it is very nice. I must admit, this is a very tempting trade. If, you know, one of you looking, you took this trade, definitely you weren't wrong. I just don't want to teach people to wait to take first entries just like that. Prices went lower, and you can see we bounced. We found the support at this major key level. Very important to find. So at this point, look at, we bounced from the lower side trend channel line and bounce from the support. We are probably not gonna go lower here. We're probably gonna go to the other side of the trend line. This is how prices react. This is what prices do. And notice how we spike through EMA like it's not even there. Like it's not even there. The prices spike through, ignore the EMA. EMA put no resistance. So this is why I didn't take the trade either, because this is usually a sign of a repeat pattern. This is just the first entry, and the fact that we ignore EMA that nicely, I was a little bit afraid. I was really waiting for second entry short, which didn't really come because we then went into this consolidation. This is choppy mess. You're not to the trend line even that close. So this was the trade that I actually took, because at this point this is a double top. You can see we made a double top. It is a first break of this channel working lower, and prices will retest the trend line. They will retest the new extreme. And it was the nice bearish reversal bar. We take it higher, trap all these people going long at the double top, and instantly spike down lower. So this was a much better trade to take. And you can see most breakouts of the ranges will fail. This is not like a typical range, but it is a breakout below this support, and we pull back instantly back on the support. And by the way, you can see the difference here and before the spike and the channel, because spike and the channel starts with a very steep movement and then the channel, but normal trend line is starting, you know, gently, and prices are fitting very neatly like any other trend line would. And you can see, you cannot ignore this trend line. You can see how nicely the stims are fitting. The stims are literally touching my trend line right here. So that will, you know, market geometry works. There is no denying. Look at how nicely it fits here. So prices find a new low. Unfortunately, I don't think you want to pick the bottom blindly. I mean, you have to be crazy experienced, but pullback first entry, pullback second entry. It is tempting to take this trade, but you can see we would have barely made it out because prices were creeping alongside this upper trend channel line. It is much safer to wait for the second entry. We bounced from the EMA here, from the trend line and from the support. Fell second entry short. All the rules are in play, and we, you know, if some of you were, you know, not sure, they gave you even another chance. This happens very rarely, but prices pull back lower, retested everything once again, and at the very close of the bar they rallied up. And this is such a strong bullish momentum at this point. You have to take it. You cannot ignore this. If you were scared to go long here, you cannot be scared to go long now. And prices ended up going much higher. This was just the first entry, and once again this is not according to our rules, so we have to wait. And prices made a 2x to the new high. So at this point this trend line is over now. This little bullish move up should be over because we have a 2x to the new high. Not specifically over, but at least there should be some correction. But there was really not much of a correction because we instantly went through the EMA, pulled back below the EMA. EMA is now holding as a resistance. And once again, market moves into first entry, pullback, second entry, long that failed. So you have to take this trade. It would have been kind of a little bit scary to wait and to see prices go so close to your stop. But once the prices made a double top right here and confirmed that the EMA is holding, this is like we pull back through EMA and we tested it twice. This is two-legged pullback to the EMA. And you can see it right here that this was boom, one leg, boom, second leg. There's double top right here, some sort of like similar barrier here. And this is a nice little bar, very low risk entry, and the prices went lower. And then I marked this trade as the last trade because this was I wasn't seeing this print on the chart. This is all hindsight, all after the fact. But you can see that this is the second entry short of the trend line, and prices rolled up higher, and at the very close of the bar they spiked down back lower. And this is a very good indicator of, you know, how good the signal bar looks. If the signal bar looks like we're, you know, gonna be bullish, and at the very close of the bar we take back all the momentum and switch it, this is very nice reverse the bar. And you know, I'm sure everybody who's watching me, even though you may be beginners, you are familiar with, you know, candlestick patterns, so you know what this bar, that this is a pin bar, you know what it means. So I'm not gonna go into detail that much, especially, you know, not just right now, let's say. Yeah, but just remember, the spike and the channel is not that easy to find, but once you keep pushing lower and lower and your first trend line you know, still keeps making new lows, you obviously have to take into consideration there might be some bigger pattern. And once you look at the start of your channel, this was a very steep spike down. As steep of a spike it was up, it was a steep spike of a down. So this is a spike and a channel, and we have a very bad spike and a channel right here. And you can see that this is not spike and a channel, this is just casual and normal trend line working higher. So yeah, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. This was the bigger picture for the day. And prices are now reacting again at this support. So it's very important to find the key levels before you start trading. You always have to identify the current bias, what it's doing, and so forth. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm not gonna talk too long. I've got a little bit of headache. So hopefully you guys had a great day, and I wish you a good week. Bye guys.